We got this old school pic. That's me on the right. I'm only 8 years old with my best friend. It's our first ever kickboxing fight. All right, my name is Jacob Macalolooy. You can call me J-Mac or the Westside Dragon. I'm a professional boxer. I'm currently 7-0 with 4 knockouts, and I'm looking to have my 8th professional fight in Redwood City at the Fox Theater under Westside Promotions. You know, growing up, having Manny come and become a world champion, those first few fights, you know, the win over Morales, I was real young. I was probably in elementary school, and it's kind of like scary, like, oh man, we got this Filipino guy on TV, like, could he really do it? And he goes and gets the win, and it's like, wow, like, we really made it. Like, he's really putting Filipinos on the map for us. So that was just crazy to see that he can really do that for us, and that really just opened the door. And now I feel like, you know, now I'm the next one to really put on for the Filipinos and specifically for the Filipino Americans. Yeah, so this Spence Crawford poster is up. It's pretty special. It's one of the biggest super fights, 2 biggest welterweights in the world. That's my weight class, and I've actually had the pleasure of sparring with both of them. And both times my job was to mimic Manny Pacquiao. So, you know, the joke is that I was kind of like a traitor to the Filipinos to kind of help them beat Manny. But I was only with Crawford for about 2 weeks before his fight fell through. But I was out in Dallas for 7 weeks with Spence, and I logged over 84 rounds, or like over 80 rounds, around 84 rounds, sparring with Spence. So to be able to say that I sparred with both of those guys and got that work and felt like I could really hang with them, you know, really just instilled more belief in me that I can take this all the way to the highest level, to the top. Now that I'm signed with Westside Promotions, I'm able to take these Bay Area fights. I don't know if I fight differently. I noticed watching the tape back on my last couple of fights, I've been showboating a little bit more, which, you know, maybe I want to do a little less of, but, you know, I do want to put on a show for them. So it does make a little bit of a difference, but it's super important. The tickets are not cheap to be able to go to these fights, and, you know, these people go out of their way. They drive out, they pay for the tickets, they buy my merch, and, you know, they're really supporting me. My fan base is what's really carrying me, and that's the #1 most important thing. Win or lose, more important than getting the win is going out there and putting on a show for them, and, you know, letting their hard-earned money be all worth it. Yeah, this is my senior wrestling photos here. Got a little homage to my Kajikembo roots as a black belt, and, you know, just coming up from this wrestling to, you know, all this wrestling history is like my senior year of high school. And this is my pops right here, back in '92. This is my uncle, NCS champions. My voice is actually kind of hoarse right now because I was screaming my head off yesterday. We just had, I also helped coach for the Logan team still. And we had some good wins yesterday. Got one kid to qualify for state. It's more family members that were part of it, and, you know, grandparents who were boxers in the Philippines. So this goes all the way back to the motherland, and you know, it's huge to have to be able to carry that torch. But beyond that, more for, you know, my little cousins and my little siblings and my sons, for them to see me now and to come out to my fights rolling, you know, 300 deep, got the whole community on my back, to be able to watch me and see me live my dream and show them that, you know, they can really do this and anything is possible. You know, coming up all the way from grandparents who grew up in the slums of the Philippines, coming to America and just making it happen, and now I'm fully living their American dream. I grew up doing martial arts and wrestling, and I wrestled through high school, and it's a really tough sport, and I originally never had any admirations to wrestle in college until, my junior year, I started having a bit more fun with it and started getting those college offers. And I ended up committing to wrestle for Columbia University. And my time in New York City was something that was really special. And I was able to surround myself with like-minded peers and people from all over the world. And it was just super cool to experience that, all while having to compete and train at the Division I level in one of the hardest sports there is, that just don't grow up with the same privilege, honestly. I mean, not to say that I grew up super privileged, but I was, I did have parents that provided for me, and a whole community that really built me up to the person that I am today. So I can't really take all the credit in my athleticism or in myself to really take me there. So I'm just grateful that God put me in the position to be where I am and to allow me to be able to, live those fun college years for 4 years in New York City. My uncle, my dad's younger brother, he was a professional fighter who fought out of San Diego, and I just, really loved it down there. I saw how big of a fighting hotspot it was. There's just like so many fighting gyms and stuff out there, and it's just such a beautiful place to be. So go out to San Diego and kind of look around some other gyms, and I go to the arena because Master Barrett Yoshida is there, who was my uncle's jiu-jitsu master. And at that gym, I started off doing MMA and stuff, but then I still slowly started creeping my way onto the boxing side of the gym, and I knew Coach Bashir Abdullah, who was the former head coach for Team USA. He coached Andre Ward in his Olympic gold medal match. And so I kind of started getting in his ear. And Coach loves to tell this story about how he just thought I was some MMA guy. He didn't think I had the skills. He thought he saw me spar in the just the regular class every once in a while, and he was like, "Nah, this guy's not." And I'm just like, "Come on, Coach, let me train with you." And he's just like not having it at all. He's not feeling me. But eventually, he's like, "All right, you can go get in the ring and spar with some of his guys." And he was like, and then he saw something in me. He's like, "Okay, maybe I could work with that." And ever since then, that's in 2019, adds me onto his team, and it's all history from there. Austin Brooks joined the team shortly after that, so we kind of were on at the same time as amateurs. Only had a few amateur fights, and then we turned pro. And then I'm still living in San Diego at the time. And then I have my second baby, and it's kind of like, I should probably raise this kid back in my hometown where I have a ton of family. It's a long game, and this is just another step in the road. So as long as I show that I've been developing as a fighter, that I have been getting better, that my conditioning has been getting better, this is going to be my first fight at 8 rounds, that I just, show more maturity and more skills, I think, I'll be satisfied with that I'm one step closer to becoming a world champion.